Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
We picked a good day, didn't we?
Yes.
It is a really good day. I was told when I was younger that I'm a connections person. And I think, this event, it really exemplifies connections in a variety of ways. And I hope as I give this speech, you all see what I'm talking about. Before I usually give any speech, I really want to thank all of the KDWP staff that are here. These are some of the most passionate individuals you'll find in the field of conservation. They are truly passionate about serving people, serving the community, and fish and wildlife. And it's just a privilege of mine to be able to work with them. Thank you. My name is Christopher Kennedy. I'm the Secretary for the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks. And it is a true pleasure to be with you all today as the Flint Hills Trail State Park is inducted into the Rails-to-Trails Conservation Hall of Fame. We are not just here to celebrate the trail, but to honor partnerships and vision that brought us to this very moment. The Flint Hills Trail story is a story of collaboration. From the early leadership of the Rails-to-Trails Conservancy, who championed its development long before the Department of Wildlife and Parks became involved. To the communities who shaped this path, Osawatomie, Ottawa, Osage City, Council Grove, and Herington. This trail spans 6 counties, 11 incorporated towns, 7 unincorporated communities, and 1 census-designated place. That's not just a geography, it's a connection. This trail invites you to engage with nature, build community, and reconnect to the land. We are also proud of the interagency collaboration that has helped us make this possible. But it's not just agencies, it's people. It's the local volunteers who cleared the brush. It's small businesses that offered rest stops and hospitality. It's municipalities that invest in access. State and federal partners who help secure funding to align priorities. The Flint Hills Trail State Park is a reflection of what happens when everyone from grassroots advocates to government leaders pull together in the same direction. And we're excited about what's next, extending the trail from Council Grove to Herington with hopes to begin early next year. Momentum like this doesn't just happen by accident. It happens because communities believe in the value of connection. And today we celebrate that belief. Now it's my pleasure to introduce someone whose leadership has helped strengthen those communities across Kansas. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Calvin Reed, a very good friend of mine of the Kansas Department of Transportation.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'll just start out by saying I got to talk fast today. I was told I have 2 to 3 minutes, and anybody who's ever heard me speak knows that is a real challenge for me to just talk for 2 to 3 minutes. But really, I want to echo Secretary Kennedy's remarks and really give appreciation for what makes something like this happen. When we look at what all it takes to make a project like this happen, first of all, you have to have a vision. And there's obviously a lot of people, not just here in Ottawa, but all across this trail and all across the state who have had a vision to really make something positive here out of what could have been a negative, right? If you think about the conversion that's happening and the opportunity that comes out of converting an old rail bed, that once really helped fuel the economy of these communities, we see something now that will fuel the economies for the future, will fuel growth and tourism in this part of the state. And it doesn't happen without strong partnership at all levels of government. Obviously, we're going to hear from the mayor and the folks here in the city of Ottawa. We've got a strong leadership at the state. I'm really proud, and I think Governor Kelly would be extremely proud of the relationship between the Department of Wildlife and Parks and Department of Transportation and Department of Commerce to really make this happen. And I similarly would like to thank those folks at KDOT. I think we got a couple in the crowd. I see Jenny Kramer over there. I know Matt Messina is here somewhere. They are strong partners in anybody looking to boost active transportation across the state. You know, a lot of times when we talk about transportation in Kansas, we talk about our roads and highways, but we know it is so much more than that that creates that economic opportunity. And I am so proud that we have folks like Jenny and Matt here to help you guys and communities all across the state and make these investments. And finally, I just want to make sure that, yep, go ahead. Yeah. Remember, I have to talk fast. And finally, I'd just like to acknowledge probably who's not here today is the Federal Highway Administration. You know, grants through the Federal Highway Administration are really what help fuel these projects and get them across the finish line. We have strong federal partners, not just in FHWA, but all across multiple agencies to help projects like this happen and support transportation in Kansas. So with that, I really appreciate what's happening here today in Ottawa. As you can see, obviously a lot of growth coming out of this. What a vibrant, active community that is really in response to the investment in these trails. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tricia Purdon of the Office of Rural Prosperity in the Department of Commerce. And Tricia is going to talk to you more about how this can help fuel growth in our rural communities all across Kansas. Welcome, Tricia.
Good afternoon. I'm Tricia Purdon. I'm the Director of the Office of Rural Prosperity, and it's my honor to just thank all of you for attending today and welcoming us here today. So on behalf of Governor Kelly and Lieutenant Governor Tolan, and all of us at the Kansas Department of Commerce, we are excited to be a part of this event. The idea of economic development is what commerce is all about, and working on economic development. But the concept of trails connecting to economic development was maybe not one that people even thought of 10, 15 years ago as a connecting piece. And thinking about the amazing connection that these trails have with the success and the prosperity of our rural communities across our state is now a common conversation and is happening every single day in every one of our rural communities. So thank all of you for being a part of that conversation, because if it wasn't for everyone that's here today and everyone who hops on a bike and everyone who throws on those hiking shoes and walks the beautiful trails of our state, none of this would be here if not for you. So thank all of you for taking a part of that. As you're traveling across our state, whether on roads, the amazing roads that Secretary Reed helps us maintain and grow, or our beautiful trails that I think many of you are about to go hop on, so which is why we have 3 minutes to talk to you today. Make sure you're taking a moment and view the scenery, because the moments that you take in each one of these small towns make a big impact. We've invested heavily in these small towns across our state, but definitely along the Flint Hills Trail. You can stop at several breweries right along this trail. There's a new one that's going to be opening soon in Osage City. You might give it a shot. There's the amazing opportunities just here in downtown Ottawa. They have an event downtown, a fundraiser for Main Street. They're selling mums. There's food trucks. There's going to be exciting events just here in downtown to celebrate the fact that all of you are here today to celebrate an amazing accomplishment that is happening here with the Flint Hills Trail. These small communities depend on people like you to stop in and say hi, grab a beer, grab an awesome Kansas souvenir and take it back to your family, and then tell your family and friends about the amazing experience you had in Melbourne or Council Grove or Ottawa. These amazing small towns are excited and are welcoming for all of you to come visit, and we can't wait for you to explore these amazing towns all across the Flint Hills Trail and other trails across our great state. The person who's helped get this going in this town, I am excited to introduce, is the Mayor of Ottawa, Mayor Emily Allen. So if you'd please give her a welcoming round of applause.
Hello, everyone. I do want to say I did order this weather, so you're welcome for that. Whenever I talk to anyone and I mention that I'm from Ottawa, one of the frequent responses that I get is, "Oh, I've been on the trails there." So if I may, I'd like to take just a few minutes to highlight one of our community's greatest assets, the Flint Hills Nature Trail and the ways that it benefits our community. The first and probably most visually noticeable benefit would be tourism. This trail is the 7th longest trail in the United States, stretching across nearly 120 miles of Kansas. Visitors from all over the state and even the country and world come here to bike, hike, and ride horses. Ottawa, right at the heart of the trail, becomes a natural hub, especially with the intersection of the Flint Hills Trail and Prairie Spirit Rail Trail. Those visitors stop here for meals, lodging, shopping, and fuel, bringing valuable dollars to our local economy. We can pull up to Mugshot over here at any point in the day, and you'll see cyclists unloading and preparing to head off on their journey. Second, the economic factor goes beyond tourism. A vibrant trail system increases the property values, encourages new business like bike shops such as our own Ottawa Bike and Trail, cafes, outfitters, and helps attract families and professionals who want a community that invests in the quality of life. Simply put, trails such as ours makes towns more competitive and appealing. Third, the health benefits are undeniable. The trail provides free, year-round access to exercise and outdoor recreation. Whether you're walking with a friend after work, training for a marathon, or just taking your kids for a ride, it makes fitness fun, accessible, and most importantly, safe. That is good for individual well-being as well as reduces long-term healthcare costs across the community. Finally, transportation. Trails like the Flint Hills Nature Trail connect neighborhoods, parks, schools, and businesses in a safe and sustainable way. They provide an alternative to driving, helping people move around town or even between communities with no gas required. When you add it all up, tourism, economics, health, and transportation, the Flint Hills Nature Trail is not just a scenic path. It's a driver of growth, a boost to community pride, and a bridge between people and nature. Ottawa is lucky to have it, and our continued investment in the trail and its success is an investment in the future of our town. Thank you. And next we'll hear from Mike Scanlon with Kansas Trails, Inc.
Thank you, Mayor. For those of you that don't know, Kansas Trail Inc. is a very new organization formed in the last 12 months. And the goal of Kansas Trail Inc. is to find, build, support, and promote trails throughout Kansas. So if you get a chance tonight, go to kansastrails.org and you can read about us. So first I want to thank Kelly and Liz from the Rails-to-Trails Conservancy for flying in to celebrate today, so thank you. And for all the Kansans that made this trail possible, you've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes about 16 villages, a state, thousands of volunteers to build the Flint Hills Trail. And I think that's what you heard Secretaries Kennedy and Reed talk about. So thank the Kansans. Now, I've got a riddle, and it's up to you to figure it out. Mix the Osage and Osawatomie tribal names, and you get Osawatomie, a name that proves even town names can be tongue twisters. And by the way, it's Osawatomie, not Osawatomie. Add in Rantoul, named after an abolitionist who never set foot here. In Ottawa, another tribal name before you get onto Pomona, an Italian goddess of fruit who somehow ended up in Kansas sorghum country. Vassar sounds classy, but let's be honest, the place has more cows than co-eds. Miller, Allen, Admire, postmaster, storekeeper, and a lawyer. Every one of them left a name behind. And Bushong, a farmer donates land for the railroad, and boom, we've got our first Kansas naming rights deal. Then comes Council Grove, where treaties were signed under a giant oak tree. Forget boardrooms, our ancestors made history in the shade. Wilsey sprouted when the railroad rolled through, and Herington when a rancher gave away land and became immortal in ink on a map. So what's the answer? Not a crossword puzzle, not a joke. These are the towns and stops along the Flint Hills Trail. A trail that is quirky, tough, and unforgettable, just like Kansas. It carries our history. It speaks to our resilience. And it reminds us, in Kansas, No matter how small the town, every stop matters. Thank you so much. Now I'm introducing you to Mr. Scott Allen.
We're in the Hall of Fame, baby! Yeah! I mean, this started, it was 24 years ago this week that the Rails-to-Trails Conservancy took over for the Kansas Horseman Foundation. And it was a group of dedicated people who knew what we had. I mean, this trail is beautiful. You can't go out on the Flint Hills and get lost in the Flint Hills anywhere but on this trail. And it's so unique and it's so beautiful. And from the tree canopy lanes between Osawatomie and Ottawa and the Flint Hills from Bushong to Council Grove, it makes this trail unique. It makes it deserving of this award to be in the National Rail Trail Hall of Fame. And the Rails-to-Trails Conservancy knew this from the beginning. And so everybody, if you ever volunteered for the Rail Trails or you served on their board, please raise your hand. Everybody that's here that did that. There's a lot of you here, and you all deserve success. And I know, I used to think that if the section between Bushong and Council Grove, if we could get that cleaned up a little bit and get some people out there to see it, we might be able to raise some funds for it. And little did I know, we only had to do it once. Took Linda Craighead out from the Kansas Wildlife and Parks. She was the assistant secretary at the time. And she just had to see it one time. And the one time she saw it, it went from talking about what kind of trail have you got here to how fast can we get this built. It turned on a dime, and you could see it when we just first entered that section. It's beautiful. It deserves to be in the Flint Hill, in the Hall of Fame. And thank you to all of you who voted 10, 20, 30, 50 times, because we deserved 80% of the vote. But with that, I'm going to pass it over to Dave Baker, who was my former state representative and who was the guy who carried the water for this bill through the legislature to make it a state park. So let's give Dave a big round of applause, and also Linda Craighead and all the board members from the KRTC.
Thank you, Scott. You gotta love the enthusiasm. That's what got the trail built. That's what makes it different than everything else. So I am Dave Baker, and I lived in Council Grove, and I was the district representative for the 68th district, which was Morris County, the city of Herington, and then the southwest part of Junction City. And so the trail was in my district, and there was 125 members in the House of Representatives, and they chose me to carry that bill because 124 other people said no. So I had Scott cheering me on, threatening me, and Linda Craighead assured me that she'd help me and not abandon me and throw me to the wolves or the farmers. So the bill got passed through the art of negotiation. It passed 119-6. We did not think it would be that popular to start with, but we did a lot of behind the scenes work. We went and got Little Jerusalem out in the western part of the state, attached that to this bill, made another state park out of that. The efforts that were made by different factions that came together was absolutely amazing. You know, I can stand here and tell you how to get a bill passed, but I'll tell you the real way to get it is you have 350 and 400 people from the Trail Committee show up in that Capitol, and they go to every representative and every senator and every legislative meeting. They show up and they are physically there, and they make sure those people know how they feel and they're going to be watched. And that's how you get a bill passed. It's holding people accountable. You're going to have to continue to fight with it, because if you don't, they'll take it back. But I am so proud of everybody that helped on this. I certainly never intended to be the guy to carry the bill, but I did. And I got it done. I'm so proud of it. I am so thankful for the people that helped me get it done, because I certainly didn't have any great ability, but I learned quick about negotiation. You can promise a lot of stuff as long as you don't have to deliver it. And I got really good at that, and there's some people that I hope don't show up. Anyway, one of the things I really want to tell you about why I really love this trail, my dad was a preacher growing up. You know, my folks used to laugh when they came out with welfare. We were welfare before they'd put a name on it. A preacher with 6 kids was not a really welcome sight in most communities. But we didn't financially have a lot of stuff, but we had a bicycle. And I'm telling you, to be able to take that bicycle and go out and ride that trail and see that sanctuary and enjoy the outdoors That's what it's all about to be a Kansan. And we do not want to lose that. And we're going to take and we're going to fight and make sure that trail stays there for a long, long time to come. So with that, I will get out of the way and turn this microphone over. Liz, where's my next speaker? Oh, there. You're hiding over there. I didn't see you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Liz Thorstensen. I'm Vice President with Rails-to-Trails Conservancy. It's such a privilege to be here with you today to induct the Flint Hills Trail State Park into the Rail Trail Hall of Fame. Give them a round of applause. Give all of yourselves a round of applause. So I was looking for some smart quotes to share with you, and I wanted to start with this one I like a lot. Walt Whitman called these plains a newer garden of creation, the crown and teeming paradise so far of time's accumulations. That sense of timeless possibility is exactly what this trail brings to Kansas today. The Flint Hills Trail State Park is like anywhere else in America. This rare tallgrass prairie landscape that stirs the soul and reminds us of the beauty of this region. To move along the trail is to experience something uniquely special. Every day, people come here to walk, to ride, to run, to breathe deeply and reconnect with one another. Trails like this remind us that joy doesn't have to come from something far away. It can be found right here, close to home, in the simple act of moving through a landscape as breathtaking as this one and honoring its history and people. But what makes this trail truly extraordinary is not only this joy that it brings, it's the people who came together, all of you, many of you here today, to make it happen. This is a story of horsemen, advocates, towns, counties, landowners, private donors, state and federal partners, civil servants, people who maybe didn't want the trail and now they're really happy that it's here. Partners who invested again and again, volunteers who gave their time, their energy, and all the towns that embraced this vision of being trail towns along the way. Step by step, grant by grant, partnership by partnership, you all have turned this dream into a reality. And the towns know just how vital this is for them. It's not just a nice to have amenity, we must have it. It's become part of the identity, a source of pride, and a cornerstone of quality of life here. That is why when the public, you all, were asked to vote, this trail won by an 80% margin, so good job. It reflects the very best of what a trail can be: beautiful, accessible, rooted in history, deeply connected to community, and built through partnerships and people. So today we honor not just this trail, but this vision, a vision of joy, connection, of possibility, and this really inspires other projects. Just as we learned yesterday, the Katy Trail in Missouri inspired this project. We know your hard work for over 30 years is going to inspire other communities, other projects, other trails across your state, across this great nation. So it is my honor to be here today to officially welcome the Flint Hills Trail into the Rail Trail Hall of Fame. And woohoo! And Benjamin's gonna come up here and we're gonna unveil the trail marker designation, and then we're gonna ask all the speakers, we're gonna do some photo ops. So here we go. Ready? Congratulations.